This show features adults using adult language. Howdy folks, I'm Caleb Sunstead, your host and game marshal. Sounds Like Crows is a podcast where a posse of nerds pretend to be cowboys. On the show, we improvise a story using the setting and system of Deadlands Reloaded, a role-playing game. Bringing it all together is the musical talent of Rudy Zuniga, who can be found on YouTube or Facebook. I have 3 older brothers, each one more degenerate than the last, and although they are deeply flawed, I still love them, and the world would be a very strange place without them. I hope that this show will in some way share what I have with you. Welcome back to the Weird West.
Abel Crowe is still separated from his brothers, having just yesterday dealt with the Marston boys. The rest of the Crows are by a campfire on a Colorado night. The fire of their quarry, Ranger Amos Westfield, flickers in the distance.
So Lucky and Ellis are on first watch. They're hanging around the campfire, looking into the darkness.
Passing a bottle of the good stuff back and forth.
Mm-hmm. Harper actually took inventory of his bag afterwards, and he could tell the jackalope got into his whiskey a little bit, pulled off the cork, and drank a fair bit of it. So,
oh man, what? Jackalopes are badass. That would have been a cool pet.
I don't think that would have happened.
Alcoholic. Oh, I got the good stuff though. I could have.
No,
maybe
Ellis,
just
you fuck with them once, and they're just the bane of your existence till
Hey,
today.
you're asleep.
Hey, go back to sleep, daddies. We're talking out here.
No, well, whatever.
Both of you are staring off into the night, thinking about jackalopes.
I'm staring at the fire.
I think Lucky is...
Me also.
You guys are staring at the fire.
Terrible guards.
Lucky, I think you're maybe rubbing that new jackalope foot you've got hanging off the butt of your pistol. The fire's cracking once in a while. It's got a solid heat rising from it, so even though the temperature's gone down significantly on the Colorado plains, it's still pretty warm here.
Lucky turns to Ellis and says, "This cold is biting, but this whiskey's biting even harder." As he takes a long pull from it.
I don't know about you. I'm feeling pretty good right now though.
Both of you need to make notice rolls for me.
I have a feeling I should have taken notice. Of notice. Nope. I didn't notice.
Well, I don't think it matters.
Doesn't matter, yeah.
I got a 5.
They got a 20.
Yikes.
Do I see him?
Hot damn.
You do not see them. You, Lucky, feel the cold double barrels of a shotgun press up against the back of your neck. And subsequently, you and Ellis hear both barrels cock. And you just hear a voice from behind you. Water!
I definitely throw up my hands. And then I shake the big thing of whiskey in my hand.
I said, water.
And Lucky nervously, "Let's calm down, friend. I'm going to pull the canteen from my side. It's got water in there. You can grab it if you want to."
Slow.
He lowers his left tattooed hand, grabs the canteen at his side, and just kind of holds it up without looking back.
It's aggressively torn out of your hand. You hear the top unstop, and then you just hear somebody chugging water behind you.
Now, there's no need to have this gun drawn on us here, friend.
They put down the water. Maybe, actually, I think they drop the water to the ground and then hold the shotgun with their left hand as well. Listen, I'm not your friend, and I don't know you. Couple of boys in the middle of nowhere? What right do I have to trust you?
Listen, man. We're just out here camping, and you came up to us with a shotgun. We ain't hurt nobody.
Now that's true, but a woman in my position has to be careful, especially out these parts. Now I do thank you for the water, but who are you?
My name's going to be Lucky Crowe, And right here to the right of me is going to be my brother, Ellis Crowe.
Well, I reckon you'll forgive me if I don't quite know who that is.
Now, I don't expect you to know who we are, but I would really, really appreciate it if you dropped that gun of yours.
I'm gonna take off my overcoat. I've got like some straps. They don't have guns though. They're just like they've got some Bowie knives in them. And I kind of just take those out, toss them to the side. I got 2 revolvers. Toss those to the side. My rifle's probably already with my stuff, like next to my bedroll.
As you turn around and look at her, she looks pretty banged up. She's got a cut above her left eye and blood streaming down her otherwise pretty face. I think she's got a cowboy hat with a lot of dirt on it and riding clothes that are pretty messed up as well. On her leg and her left arm specifically, a large amount of it has just been sort of torn away, almost like she fell off a horse or something.
Well, shit. What happened to you?
I was headed west from Louisiana to head up with my dear father, and upon the way, we had a minor accident, and now I find myself standing before you with this gun and no water to my name.
Well, we got plenty of water, and you're welcome to drink as much as you want, as soon as you put that gun down.
I have no reason to trust you, and I believe that any reasonably minded person in these parts could understand my apprehension to do what you're asking me to do.
Come on, Lucky. She's a guest here.
Now, that's very fair.
Look at her. She's not a threat. She's all beat up.
Now, you say she's not a threat because she's not holding a gun to your back right now.
Can I roll notice to see if I wake up?
Yeah.
I got 2 5s.
Harper, your eyes slide open, and without moving, you just move your eyes over, and you see the scene of a beat-up woman holding a double-barreled shotgun to the back of Lucky's neck as Ellis talks.
He just kind of sleeps like on his bedroll, kind of like laid out. He still got all of his stuff on. So I think I'm just gonna like make a stealth roll to see if I can slowly reach down for my pistol.
Sure, yeah, go for it.
Again, 2 5s.
2 5s. You can do it. 2 4s. You reach down, no problem. Grab your pistol.
You said you got into a situation? What kind of situation?
You know how it is. Outlaws from Colorado coming down. They tried to take what we had, and we weren't having it. We got into an altercation. They're dead, but the horses were gone.
What about your dad?
Oh, he's waiting for me.
And the rest of your group?
Dead.
I see no need for this. We've got water. We've got a fire going.
Make a persuasion roll. I think that her circumstances are such that it's hard to believe you, so maybe -2.
4.
Wow. Okay, cool. She moves her gun away to the ground and then uncocks both barrels.
Lucky lets out a real relieved sigh and places his hands down, and then scoots over to the log that I'm sure we built the fire around.
Sure, yeah.
And leaves her a seat.
Cool.
Do I have any medical supplies?
If you want to spend one of those uses, yeah.
Yeah.
Harper sees her lower her shotgun. He like sits up, kind of slowly, just kind of maintains an eye on her. I think he slowly kind of starts to stand up, and he says, well, what do we have here?
Name's Laurie.
He holds eye contact for a second. She doesn't like move her gun at all, does she?
No.
Okay, so Harper reaches up, puts his gun back in its holster, kind of reaches up and rubs the sleep out of his eyes. Name's Harper Crowe.
You all brothers?
That's right.
Yes, ma'am.
And why are you out in the middle of nowhere?
Yeah, we're looking for something too.
She sits down, grabbing the canteen of water as she walks by it, and takes another long swig before she caps it and hands it back to Lucky, who's sitting next to her. You're pulling out medical supplies?
Yeah,
Ellis?
I'm kind of rummaging through my stuff, and I pull out like some bandages or something.
Perfect. You grab them, head on back over. She says, oh, thank you. You trained in the medical field?
No, I'm afraid not. Just thought that might come in handy.
She says, well, give 'em here. It's hard to do on yourself, but I'll give it my best shot.
I hand him over.
She's just going to make a simple medical roll on herself. She's got a D8 in it. I think she gets a -2 because she's operating on herself.
Pretty good still.
Sure.
Oh, not great. Not great. 4 and a 1. It's pretty important to her, so she'll probably spend one of these here bennies there. Take it a re-roll. Oh, fail again. Gonna spend a red Benny here, add a D6. She made it.
There we go.
Exactly
Beautiful.
made it. She takes the bandages, the alcohol, cleans it up a little bit, and bandages herself up real quick. I don't know if you guys have seen any sort of medical professions in your time, but she's pretty quick. Well, I thank you for this very much. I thank you for your water as well as your hospitality, but I've taken up too much of your time, I'm sure. She stands up, grabs her shotgun, and sort of checks her equipment, getting ready to leave.
Lucky sort of like puts up a hand. What's the rush? Where you gonna go? It's the middle of the night.
If you were scared enough to sneak up on us with a gun to our head, you're pretty frightened. What makes you want to run back off into the dark?
Well, I suppose I have to ask myself, what is more frightening? 4 brothers in the dark? Or whatever's out there?
Well, I'm flattered, but I assure you we're actually pretty good guys.
She takes a hard look at you, taking into account that persuasion roll you made earlier. This is a really hard sell, guys. If you're a person
Yeah.
out in the middle of the wilderness, okay, you run into some people, you need water desperately, you ask for it. You're still in that situation, and there's no fucking guarantee that y'all aren't going to try to murder her. She says,
Well, where are you boys headed?
We're headed southwest.
I reckon to make my way over to Tombstone eventually. I suppose I could join up with you. What are your professions, if you don't mind me asking you, gentlemen?
Professions, huh? That's an interesting question.
Good.
Harper sees everybody else hesitate, and he says, "Me, I hunt bounties.
You bring any big ones in?
Not recently. I did get one worth 1,000.
her eyes go a little bit big. Ooh, that's quite a penny for a man like yourself, I imagine. Good work.
Thank you much.
Your brothers here seem a little bit more hesitant. Do they have...
I'll tell you if you want. It's just kind of a weird question.
I don't think it's a weird question if I'm going to spend the night in your camp. Surely I'd like to know if you're outlaws destined to kill me in my sleep.
Well, it'd be kind of strange if a bounty hunter was brother with an outlaw. But I'll tell you my real profession. I'm simply a humble co-owner of a very good-sized casino in Dodge, Kansas.
Her eyes go a little bit wider even. Dang. Whoa, what in the Lord's name is a casino owner doing in southern Colorado?
Like I said, we're looking for something.
Fair enough. And to your two remaining brothers? And she looks to Lucky sitting on the...
Last I checked, Lucky didn't have a job.
I believe my official title was probably caretaker. And then he sort of looks a little sad, and then he goes, but I believe I just retired.
Ah, shit, Lucky. Why'd you have to bring that there?
Well, I reckon if you don't want to talk about it, we don't have to talk about it. I don't have any bedroll or nothing, but she looks up. Looks like a fine night to sleep under the stars.
No, we got an extra one until our other brother shows up. You're welcome to use it if you want.
I'd much appreciate your generosity.
I think it's fair to tell you, if you're going to be traveling with us, we are pursuing a man, and it could get violent.
She nods and says, I'm sure I can make myself scarce before you reach them. If that sounds agreeable to you gentlemen.
Hey, no one's telling you where to go?
I ain't got no quarrel.
Lucky just sort of nods.
Farewell. Where's that bedroll at?
Lucky's gonna take him a huge swig from that whiskey and let out another sigh of relief.
Harper's gonna walk on over to you and reach out for the bottle.
Goddamn, should have bought more whiskey.
Goddamn jackalope.
Lori settles in with Abel's bedroll that Ellis gave her. She sets up behind the log that Harper and Lucky are sitting on. Ellis went back to bed, I presume, and Thaddeus, having never woken up, continues to snore in the corner. Lucky and Harper, the fire crackles before you. Maybe a wolf howls in the distance somewhere, an owl hoots, and a few crickets chirp in the background.
There's a long silence with nothing but just the fire crackling before Lucky starts to chuckle to himself, and he goes, yeah, you know, I think I do remember that bottle of whiskey you snuck in there.
Oh, you mean the first one?
Yeah, the first one.
Man, I don't even know how she caught onto us so quick.
She swapped that bottle with horse piss faster than that jackalope scared your horse the other day.
Hey, ain't that the truth? Oh, you remember the look on my face when I got a big old mouthful of that horse piss? I didn't know whether it was whiskey or not.
You still pretended to be drunk.
Hey, so did you.
That I did.
From behind you, in her bedroll, Lori says, "Your mama sounds like a mean woman."
She was mean, but she was fair.
Yeah, and she loved with all her heart.
I never knew my mama. Only grew up with my pa. That's why I'm headed out west to see him. It's been too long.
Lucky sort of smirks sadly and goes, "Quite the opposite for us. Most of us just knew Ma, never Pa."
Harper just lets out like a really long, deep sigh.
Lucky pulls out that charred picture that he retrieved from the house, and he takes a long look at it and goes, "Without this picture, when we die, her face will be forgotten."
All our faces are forgotten eventually, aren't they, Lucky?
Not mine. I'm going to be famous one day, I swear.
You? Famous doing what?
I'm going to be the best goddamn duelist in this place.
Oh, you sure about that?
Sure.
He won many duels, Harper?
More than I can count in one hand.
A brother's word, it must be true.
Yeah, let's just not count the last one, though. Silence sort of starts to carry on through the night. And then Lucky lets out another sigh and says, "You know what, I'm tired of being the one to always bring us down. I think I'm going to try and go to bed."
Get some sleep. I'll finish the watch.
Lucky sort of moseys on over to his bedroll, which is mostly unused.
Hey, Lucky,
Yeah?
you don't bring people down.
Thanks, Lori. That means a lot.
The camera stays on the fire, and it fades away to another Colorado scorcher. Today, however, there's a magnitude of cloud cover. To the north, you maybe even can see some rain in the distance coming down from the clouds. To the south, you see the speck of a homestead in the distance. Looks like the ranger's tracks lead towards it, at least from this vantage point. Although there's nothing around for miles, so you can't imagine what else the tracks would go to.
There's no horse outside?
From this distance, there's no horse outside. There is, however, something near the homestead. A horse laying down, and what looks like from this distance, Ellis, a larger number of bodies laying around the homestead.
Well, I think we best get down there quick, boys.
Looks like it.
Lori, if you don't want to accompany us, I wish you luck on your journey.
Well, none of you are doctors. Who's going to help them if they're hurt?
All right, fair enough.
Best keep your head down.
You got a horse?
Well, I guess not. I'll hoof it on past. You boys make sure it's safe, and I'll keep up the rear.
How good is your riding?
Not too bad.
Just don't ride with Harper and you should be fine.
Well, now listen, I think I could maybe use a rest. I'll ride with you. I'll cover you as we go take a look at those bodies.
She looks at Thaddeus.
Look.
Thaddeus, are you telling me you're going to let this woman ride your horse and you're going to ride bitch?
I don't give a good goddamn. I've been sunburned the last 2 days.
Come on, Lucky, let's go down there.
Whoa. Thaddeus, though. You can't let a woman on your horse. Women are bad luck.
Women are bad luck?
I meant
What
no
the
offense
hell is
by
going on here?
In this day and age, sir.
Can we
Well,
get
Lucky,
down
you
there to
just-
the dead bodies, please? That's
Well-
all I'm asking.
I ain't touching that with a 10-foot pole.
I'm
just
just
kinda
saying.
runs off.
I'm going down.
We don't want no bad luck. I'm looking at this sky, and I already don't like the look of it.
We'll see who's bad luck. Lucky. Get off that horse there, Thaddeus.
I'm not getting down. You can ride up in the front.
Yeah, she grabs your extended hand. You pull her up, and you guys ride on down. Your horse's gallops slow to a jog, a trot, and a walk as you meet the scene before you. It's dark compared to the last few days. It almost seems like it should be raining where you are. The clouds are so dark as they pull overhead. Ahead of you are bodies, mangled, shot, stabbed, and torn apart. Looks like Union and Confederate soldiers here fought. Nearby is a horse, flies buzzing around. You can see its exposed rib cage with the muscle pulling back from the inside. As you guys trot up, you can see the head of a raven pop out, full of blood, and in its mouth is a bit of intestine. It jumps upwards onto one of the ribs and then spreads its wings and takes flight.
I'm going to roll stealth to try and approach the house and see if I can see anything inside.
You all also need to make guts rolls as a result of seeing this terrifying sight before you. Anybody fail?
I'm good.
Nobody.
Nope.
And for my stealth roll, I got an 8.
Lucky shifts the 2 rabbit's feet on his revolver around in his hands. I don't like the look of this.
Steel yourself, Lucky. Everything's gonna be all right.
No, I ain't scared. I just got that feeling. That feeling in the pit of your soul that something bad's about to happen.
All of you made guts rolls. Lori did as well. This is a fear/nausea roll rather than a sight of true terror. It's simply horrific. So normally, if you fail, you would just be shaken. You'd have to collect yourself for a moment as you take in the sight. But Lori, well, she rolled a natural 1 on her guts roll. And regardless of her wild die, that means she rolls on the fright table. She rolls 1d20. She gets a 12, and she is panicked. If this were in combat, I'm sure it'd be much worse. As you pull up on your horse and you see that raven fly into the sky, she looks up in terror, looks at the scene around her, scrambles with the reins, and falls backwards off the horse. She hits the ground hard and just starts panicking. You can see it's hard for her to breathe. She clutches at her chest and starts jogging away up the hill you guys came down to get into this farmstead. As you stare at the dead bodies.
Lucky looks over at Thaddeus and said, "What'd I say? Bad luck."
Harper turns his horse around and kind of rides off after her. After he gets him within probably 10 or 15 feet, he hops off his horse, kind of in mid-trot, kind of runs up, and he says, "Whoa, whoa, whoa. You all right?"
No, does it look like I'm all right?
Now listen, I know what you saw. Well, ain't nobody need to see that. All right, but you can't be running off like this. We don't know what's out there.
Sure has to be better than what I just saw there, Harper.
Yeah, unless whatever did that gets to you. Who knows? Maybe there's more Confederates out here.
She makes a spirit roll. She succeeds with a raise. Okay, Harper. Okay.
Now, you listen up. All right, you can sit back behind one of these here trees, some bushes, stay out of eyesight. Just stay quiet. We'll come and get you. But you can't be running off.
That sounds like quite the plan.
Nobody else needs to get killed today.
I was looking in the house,
Right.
all stealthy well, this is going on.
It ain't my fault, Lucky, that she got scared. I don't claim nothing to that. It's not luck.
Lucky sort of looks like he's pretty much agreeing with Thaddeus, but still makes the remark, "A medic that's afraid of blood. Unbelievable. Maybe she wasn't a great idea to pull along with us."
That was all up to you guys. I woke up this way. What was it she said made you want to bring her along anyway?
Harper kind of is riding past. She was all alone in the dark. And he just kind of moves along.
Now's not the time to talk about it anyways. Let's shush up.
Ellis, you creep your way up to those steps. They've got a porch out here. It's not covered, but it's still dark out, like I said.
No windows?
There are a few windows, if you want to go over to those first.
Yeah, I want to look in the windows.
As you approach the house in the window, you can see that the whole building's been shot up by gunfire. Probably over 20 rounds were put into the front of this building. The window's been punched out. As you look down, you can see it was smashed out from the inside rather than being shot in. You peer with one eye around the window into the room. It's also shot up in here. One of the tables has been propped up. Some bullets are lodged in it as they defended from whatever gunfire hailed down. On this side of the room, you can see a few dead Union soldiers against the wall. As you peer to the right, one's barely on the other side of the window. You can see that he took a slug straight through one of his eyes.
I'll make my way over to the door and see if it's locked.
It's not locked, no. In fact, it's actually looks like it may have been broken open at some point because the latch isn't even there anymore. You creak it open.
Yeah, I'll put one of my left-hand knife, I'll just stow it away. So I got a knife in my right hand as I push the door open slowly with my left.
It creaks open, and as you push it, you can see a few mice scurry away. They were chewing on some of the bodies. They walk through or scurry through a pile of blood, leading a small track of mouse prints into their hole in the wall. As you take a single step in, you can see that on the other side of the table, there's another body. And while it's still fresh, it is almost completely red. Every inch of its body has been blown open with gunfire. Someone laid into this thing hard and repeatedly. But on its face, you can see that its lips have been shot off, but its teeth still remain yellow.
I look around the room, see if there's anything else of note.
In addition to that body and the mostly Union and one Confederate soldier you find in here, you also find an older man sort of wearing farmer's or rancher's gear. He's got a beard, and he's dead in the corner with a saber stuck in him.
The Confederate soldiers in here?
Union.
Mostly Union and one Confederate soldier.
Where are you guys right now? Just
Probably-
on your horses watching?
Well, probably going towards the door. I think.
Harper's on foot at this point. I think he's tied off his horse, kind of like off into the trees a little bit.
Thaddeus is chuckling to himself after having talked with Lucky about this unlucky girl.
So I guess I'll just yell back to you guys. Nothing but more dead soldiers in here, boys. Let's check if they got anything we can use.
Lucky walks through the door and immediately covers his mouth with like a handkerchief or a bandana or whatever he had in his right hand. Oh, God, that stinks.
Harper's looking around outside. Well, I don't see anything of note. Looks like it was just a shootout.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Just a shootout?
Well, I mean,
It's a bit of a massacre, I suppose.
Well, what do you think happened here? He walked over to a guy with his lips blown off, but his teeth still around.
looks like the Confederates really wanted this guy dead.
He definitely still investigates this guy.
Lucky, as you peer in, checking out his wounds, you think you can see something moving inside one of the bullet holes on his chest.
Lucky kind of pulls forward at a safe distance and kind of looks down into it while he rests his hand on his gun.
What do you see there, Lucky?
There's something moving, and he unholsters his pistol and starts to move it towards the hole as if to either prod it or kind of spur what the movement could be.
As you poke at it, Lucky, you can see the red from the inside start to bubble out quickly towards you. And as it's moving out, it almost seems like a collection of smaller units moving within this clot of blood pouring out of his chest. What do? Do you take a step back?
Lucky immediately retrieves his gun to his holster, takes a step back, and kind of moves his hand to shield his face. What the hell?
What is it, Lucky?
As you stare inwards, Ellis, you can see the blood pouring out. It's not blood, but fire ants. They swarm out, finding resting places in the various bullet wounds in his chest, and you can see them now moving more vigorously now that you know what you're looking for. A stream of them goes off the back of his head, about where his neck is, and crawl out the door, the back door.
Holy shit. Lucky begins to make his way outside because he's real done with this place at this time.
You head on out the front door, kind of wipe your head a little bit, take off your hat for a moment, and I mean, it stinks out here. You can still see the barn about 20 yards away from you. Who else is outside at the moment?
Harper's outside too.
Yeah, Harper and Thaddeus.
I'm gonna make an investigation roll to see if there's anything out here like that leads me to believe anything other than a Confederate Union shootout.
Yeah, if he's investigating, did I hear enough of what they were describing to make any sort of like occult rolls or anything?
You can make an occult roll if you'd like, yeah.
All right, I rolled a 7 on investigation.
Perfect.
Got a 4.
Whatever Marshall thinks is appropriate Thaddeus knowledge, I mean, Thaddeus can have. But I don't think you know more than that at this point.
I don't know anything, so I don't know what Thaddeus would know.
Harper, you start looking around for any signs of, just trying to figure out what happened here and unravel the mystery. As we discovered last time, revolvers, you got to empty your chambers with those shells, you guys.
True.
And so I think you see that there are a large collection of both pistol shells and rifle shells near the door. Looks like they held out a long time behind those windows inside of the building. Looks like there was some sort of engagement at the center, and then you find footprints heading around the house. As you go about 3 yards around the house, you can see there's an entrance to a cellar that's been locked from the outside.
So Harper turns around and kind of walks back towards the group. Well, cellar's locked from the outside. I'd hate to see what's down in there.
Locked from the outside.
That's a little curious.
That it is. Reckon maybe they're planning on burning this place down, locking whoever was in that basement down there. Maybe they're still alive.
Did you knock on it?
Hell no.
Well, I'll go take a knock.
All right, I've got your back.
Lucky shrugs and just sort of follows.
You guys head out of the house, around the house, near that side. The closest body is about 7 feet away from you. You can hear the flies buzzing around it as Ellis steps up to the cellar door.
Harper hollers out, "Hey, Lori, you all right?"
I reckon I'm doing just fine up here.
Yeah, all right, you stay there. We're gonna take a peek around some more.
Take your time.
Lucky looks over to the barn. Does he see any like movement or anything coming from there?
Actually, Lucky, do you want to make a notice roll for me?
That is going to be a 1 all
You've
around.
got a bunch of
One.
bennies.
I don't really care.
I'm gonna make one of those memes too, because that looks like a smart thing to do.
I think you're at the cellar, buddy. I think you're at the cellar.
Is that not an eye shot of the barn?
I mean, you're looking at the cellar. So he asked.
You are captivated by me
You're
going
captivated
up this
by
cellar.
it.
All right, fair enough.
Because what Lucky sees, even with a failed notice roll, is the barn door slide a little bit further closed.
Lucky,
Everybody else is by
after
that cellar
seeing
door.
that, Lucky sort of just makes a knock on the door, or like the side of the building, in like a familiar tone that most of us know.
We
Yeah.
know that.
Yeah.
We all know that one.
Yeah, we're brothers. We used to do that all the time.
So Harper looks up. Then after the knocking, it
Sure.
catches his attention, and now he can look away from the cellar.
He sees Lucky staring at the barn with his hand against the side of the house.
Am I knocking on this cellar or not?
Hold up. What do you see, Lucky?
Lucky, without saying a word, sort of just unholsters his revolver and points in the direction of the barn.
Harper raises his rifle and rolls notice. 5.
You take a long peek at the barn, and you can see a little bit inside of it too, but you don't see any movement.
Lucky's going to start making his way over there, assuming that at least Harper's following.
Harper looks back at Ellis and kind of like signals with his hand.
Well, you guys are just gonna walk up there?
Seems he saw something move over there. Let's figure we better take a peek before something comes up behind us in the cellar, huh?
Well, if you guys are gonna get yourself killed, I may as well come with you.
That's the spirit.
Lucky's probably about like 15 feet ahead of him already, making his way over to the door.
Plus, he'll follow on after Ellis.
So all of you are making your way to
We're
the barn.
making our way to the barn.
I'm quiet. Like, I mean, I heard the
Great.
knock. Didn't know.
No
what it
stealth rolls, nothing.
Lucky?
Yeah, I want to be quiet about it.
Well, what's the point?
Well, Lucky, you head on over to the barn door, and it's cracked open enough that you could slip inside if you want.
Can I just peer through it first?
You take a look through. No animals are in the barn. What little light there is pouring in from outside on this clouded day streams on to a body at the far side of the barn that has a bayonet stuck in its heart and then to the wall behind it.
Do I hear any rustling inside?
You can hear the person gurgling as if they're still alive.
Lucky's going to peek his head in there and see if he can get a visual on this guy.
His uniform has been stained with such a large quantity of blood that his original affiliation is unknown. Blood still pours out from the bayonet wound in his chest. His one good eye has a haunting quality to it, while the other hangs lifeless and dead outside of the socket, attached by a few nerves. His head has been halfway scalped, and you can see his skull peering out from the blood.
Lucky's going to make his way fully in here towards that body, but still kind of peering around.
Lucky steps forward, and you can see bloody boot prints on the floor heading from the barn door to this body. Take a few more steps forward, and you can see he's still alive. He's moving.
Does he have a gun near him?
You take a look around, and yeah, he's got a revolver in his right hand.
I'm going to approach him, and I'm going to try and take the revolver out of his hand and kind of throw it away.
Lucky, you reach in and grab his revolver out of his hand. As you do so, he lunges forward, screaming. He rips the bayonet out of his chest, and you can see exposed bones, his ribs in there, and he comes at you with his bayonet. Harper, you're up first. You see Lucky take a few stumbling steps back as this thing comes at him with the bayonet. What do you want to do?
I'm going to move inside the doorway, and I'm going to take a shot with my rifle. Loads
Six
up.
exploded.
Okay, so that's a 8.
I'll tell you what, that dice has been treating you good.
Yeah, it has.
Yeah, it's a hit with the race.
11.
That is a hit, or rather that beats his toughness, but not with a raise. So
shit.
you shoot a rifle shot straight into him, hits him hard in his left shoulder. He lets out a gurgling moan. Keeps on coming. He is shaken though.
Lucky, get back!
Ellis,
What the
you're up.
hell?
Ellis, you're up.
How far away is he?
He is not that far, a barn length.
All right. I got my knife out. I'm going to run up to him. I'm going to try and cut him. We'll see where.
That's a good move to use that.
That's a
that
Benny
was-
right
Benny
there.
and a Benny.
Using a Benny on that roll.
Now, do I get reroll
of them.
both?
Yes.
Correct.
Got a 5.
As you come at him, he knocks down your knife with his bayonet with surprising speed as you stab inwards. Thaddeus Crowe,
Man,
you're up.
he's a barn's length away. Basically, at this point, beyond my sight, right? I suppose coming up to the barn and see all this going on. I think Thaddeus just charges up his full movement. I don't think it gets him close enough to be on the other side of the barn, though.
Sweet. So he
he'll-
just sort of slams into the barn door and takes a look at the sight that's going on inside as Ellis charges in. Lucky, you're up. This thing's coming at you, but Ellis is standing next to you.
Lucky, a little startled, keeps walking backwards, and as he's walking backwards, he tries to take a shot and hopefully hit this guy kind of straight in the chest or something along those lines.
So basically, if you're shooting in melee range, then instead of trying to get a 4, you have to beat his parry instead, I think. And then if you move too far away, like if you move out of his range, he gets an attack of opportunity.
Is there a disengage action in this sort of a
Well,
system?
actually, he's shaken, so I don't think he gets to take those.
Okay. Well, I mean, if he's shaking, then I'm going to take some steps back and kind of just fire into it. I got a 5 to hit.
You lay into him hard.
That's an 8.
You blast into him. I'm going to spend another Benny here to make a vigor roll, so he will not die, maybe. He's got a D8 in vigor, and he soaks 1 wound. As you shoot into him, some of the skin blasts off in a way, followed by blood. And what it does is start a cascade where his flesh starts to peel back and fall off his body, revealing just a skeleton suspended by musculature.
Yikes.
Everyone needs to make a fear roll.
Guts.
Guts roll.
Harper's doing just fine.
Don't we also add our grit to this roll?
You do add your grit, however, you add an additional number as well. You get a -2.
Everyone does?
Everyone does.
But we do get to add our grit to it, so
So-
everyone's getting +1. Except me, who gets +2?
I also get +2.
So who failed?
What? How?
I got a 3.
I'm veteran of the Old West.
Alice is
that's
spooked
right.
by this.
So we just gotta make one roll, Alice.
I'm the only one?
You're the only one. I mean, if we have to get a 4,
Sorry, dude, we're
No, yeah.
badasses.
Alice, roll 1d20.
Uh-oh.
I got a 9.
pretty low.
A
Is
9.
it good or bad?
Yeah, I don't know.
You are panicked. The character
Not
immediately moves his full pace plus running die away from the danger and is shaken. So he makes a spirit
yikes.
roll to become unshaken. He fails. Marshal Caleb is going to spend his last penny to make him become unshaken. And he comes at you with his bayonet. So he rolls fighting. You said you have 4, Barry? Okay,
yeah.
great. He hits you, Barry.
Yeah, no shit.
And then he does 5 damage.
My toughness is 5, so would that shake me?
That'd shake you, yeah. So he comes at you with the bayonet. How do you, dodge out of the way?
I dodge out of the way, and I do it pretty well, but I do slip a little bit on my left foot, so I kind of and I stumble back.
The back door of the barn gets kicked open. To the right of this creature assaulting Lucky, you see your brother, Abel Crowe, step into the barn with his trusty 50 caliber revolver. Big iron at his side. Isaac, you see a very maimed and wounded man coming at your brother Lucky with a bayonet. And at the same time, he's trying to bite him, it looks like. He's got his skin falling off, and you can see his revealed skeleton and musculature.
Okay, well, since it's threatening my brother, I think the exact first thing I'll do is try to bowl Lucky out of the way, like charge him and shoulder check him out of the way and blast this thing.
That'll be perfect because I'm actually mid-fall right now. I'm real stumbling and I'm kind of shaking off my feet.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So Abel's a big guy. He just charges forward, drops the shoulder, and just blasts Lucky out of the way.
So
Great.
from Lucky's point of view, he gets charged by a zombie, dodges out of the way, and then gets hit by a boulder as he gets sent flying into the barn wall.
Yeah, make your shot at -2 then.
Okay, cool. 11.
Holy
Good.
shit. Oh, well, it's one raise, so...
Correct.
Correct.
4.
That's correct.
Ooh, that one blew up, so I'm at 10. 14. Third dice blew up, so I'm at 20.
Hell yeah.
Holy shit.
23 plus 1. 24.
How do you kill it?
All right.
Savage World.
Savage Worlds, baby.
Fucking great.
So I think it's Abel charging through, kind of knocks Lucky out of the way, and as he's falling back towards Lucky, just full of concentration. He's used to firing from horses. He's used to firing while he's getting tossed around, so the movement doesn't bother him that much. And he just drops the bead, real Max Payne style, as he falls down, shoots the thing, and then lands prone on his side.
Well, thanks for doing the coolest thing this whole session, you asshole.
Yeah,
As the gun smoke fills the room, silence falls upon the barn.
Lucky rubs his head and... What the fuck just hit me? He looks over and sees his brother. Well, god damn it.
that was one hell of an entrance, Abel.
Abel pushes himself to his knees. Lucky, you all right?
Besides the giant-ass bump on my head, I'm sure I'm all right. And he grabs his arm and lets Abel help him up.
Is everybody all right?
We're all okay.
Yeah, we got a girl spooked up in the hills behind the barn up here. But now we're all right.
Lucky wants to search the barn a little bit more.
Make an investigation roll for me.
Harper will do the same.
Ooh, a 5.
Not bad.
No, a 3. Never mind. I suck at it.
I got a 4 though.
Lucky, yeah, you peek around at the side around you.
Nope, nothing here.
Harper, you peek around at the side around you. There are no horses in here. Looks to you as if all the stalls were open, so somebody must have let them out at some point. There's no other bodies or people in here besides the one man your brother killed. But as you head over to his body, yeah, even peering at it as you do now, you still can't tell the color of his uniform, one way or the other. You do grab that bayonet, that rusty, bloody bayonet that he had. Take a look at it. It doesn't have a lot of markings on it, but it does look really old.
Hey, Abel, you recognize this bayonet? Is this Confederate, Union?
Abel takes it in his hands and turns it over a couple times, and then leans down close to the man and starts thumbing through the uniform, looking for buttons, some brass buttons on the front of the coat.
You thumb over one of the buttons, and it's just a mess. It's got bits of hair on it, and blood has dried and congealed onto it until it is almost just a single mass. You cut it off and pull it up and start to clean it with a handkerchief. As you clean away the blood and the brass shines through, you're greeted with a skull.
I don't know about north or south, but this looks like something else to me.
Lucky,
Is nobody else alarmed at the fact that we were just attacked by a dead man?
Lucky crouching over the dead man with a handkerchief over his mouth. Yeah, that is quite odd now, isn't it, Ellis?
Hold
yeah,
on.
quite odd indeed.
He was dead before you found him?
That
He
bayonet was sticking through his heart.
I mean, he was dying.
He was
it sounded
scalped.
like.
Oh.
This wasn't like anything I'd
The
ever
skin
seen.
fell right off of him when he got shot. Just fell right to the ground.
Definitely was peculiar.
I gotta say, looks like he's been rotting here for some time.
You heard the gurgling. He ain't no rotten.
Did you see his skin?
Lucky nods.
You take a peek down there, Harper, and it's a bit of a conundrum. You're not a doctor or mortician, but some patches of his skin look rotten, dark, black and green, and others you can still see pink flesh, even if it is covered with blood.
He kind of shakes his head and, like, holds back a gag. He stands up and he says, I ain't no doctor, but I think we do got one. I don't know if she's going to be willing to come down here and take a look at this, but she might be able to help us out.
Lucky gets the idea that maybe if this bastard's moving around, there might be others like him, and he starts heading back to the house.
To all the viewers who don't get to see any of this, Caleb just let out a creepy-ass smile. So things are not boding well for the Crowe boys.
He's always doing that.
No, things are fine. Things are fine.
Dang.
This makes me wonder, what the hell is chained up in that cellar?
At that, we cut to Lucky's boots outside, stomping on the ground. It's a jangle and a splosh, because most of the ground out here is covered in blood, you know. Flies swarming around as you walk through the battlefield, Cameron, over onto the house. You walk upwards, stepping on those stairs up to the front door. As you peer in, that one body by the back door, that one covered in bullet holes with the red ants in him, well, that body's gone.
Lucky definitely takes a step back from the door and pulls out his revolver and begins reloading the spent bullet that he did earlier.
Harper's probably following Lucky, probably filling in Abel as they walk.
That would be
Sweet.
wonderful. He's going to pull out a small leather cord that's around his neck, tucked inside his shirt, untie the end of it, and add the button onto a string of other trophies that are hanging there. Then tucks it back in and likewise begins to reload while he gets the down low on the situation.
How'd you get here so fast, Abel?
Riding past the storm, trying to stay out of the way. Saw your fires at night. Figured it couldn't be anybody else but you. Rode hard.
Yeah, I'm glad you did.
Yeah, me too. He claps a hand on Ellis's shoulder.
So we kind of continue up and around the corner to the front of the house where we find Lucky.
As you walk up there, you see Lucky rummaging around inside, and you see another figure come around the side of the house. He's got bullet holes all in him, and red ants are streaming up and down his legs into his wounds and onto the ground. And he's stumbling forwards, and in his hand he's got a carbine that he slowly raises at you.
I'm going to pull out my revolver from my quick draw quiver, or holster, and I'm going to try and take a shot. Son of a bitch.
Are you
Not
going to
good?
move? You going to take cover or something?
Yeah, I guess I'll move behind the house.
So he's coming around the right side. You take a shot, miss, and then hoof it over to the left side. Lucky.
Did you say I was in the house?
You're in the house, yeah. You hear gunfire ring out, and as you dash over the window, you see the man full of bullet holes going towards your three brothers.
I'm going to go towards the door, push it open with my back against the wooden planks, and then as it kind of folds out, I'm just going to lay a bullet right into this guy's head.
Is that a cold shot?
Yes, it is.
Catch
Now,
me up to
what do I
speed
do
on
with
the...
that?
Called shot mechanics. You take a -4 if you're shooting at his head, but I believe it does +4 damage if you manage to hit him.
So I take my time and I line it up, aiming for his head, and it whizzes way left.
You want to use a Benny?
Yeah, why not? I am
Yeah.
crap load. That's a 3. So for a called shot.
Damn.
-1.
It whizzes past him. I think maybe it knocks off the cap he's wearing off his head, sending it flying to the ground. And gives a little bit of a snarl at you. And then he, in the center, between the house and the barn, is still Abel and Harper. And he's going to stumble to a stop, raise up his carbine, and fire it straight at Harper. 5's going to hit you. Hey,
Nice.
That's not bad. 3 damage is all it does.
Nope, doesn't even beat my toughness. So he raises up. Harper's like talking to Abel, and he kind of looks up and sees him raising his rifle and kind of like ducks down to the right and almost like a little roll, and the bullet just kind of whizzes past him.
Abel.
So Abel, tipped off by Harper's leap, has also just finished reloading. He starts running to the left, so splitting up with him and Harper, so they're going in opposite kind of flanking directions. And as he moves, he raises up his big iron and fires off a shot.
Take it away.
11.
You hit him hard, and he takes a step back. His rifle loosely falls into one hand, and his head cocks to the right, almost like a dog, as he widens his one good eye at you and keeps walking forward. He's shaken.
I don't like this, boys.
Harper, you're up.
So Harper, after kind of dodging out of the way, he goes down to one knee, raises up his Winchester. I'm going to call a shot for the head. Why not? Fuck it.
Okay.
That blows up. 9, so that's a hit. So 14.
Sweet. You blast his head open with a single shot. The remnants of his brain and the shrapnels of his skull fly out the back of his head, and he falls hard onto his back, dead.
Harper just takes a quick movement to cock the lever on his 73 rifle, sending a shell flying through the air. And then he stands up, still with the rifle at his shoulder, and looks around at any of the other corpses, making sure that they're all where he left them. And he yells out to Lori, see if she's still there. Lori, you all right?
I'm doing just fine up here.
You let us know if you see something. We got some,
I mean, I've seen all sorts of stuff, but it seems like you boys got it under control.
He just kind of continues walking through looking for dead people.
You walk around, poking some of the bodies, and for a second, everything is still as gun smoke rises up. Thaddeus, what are you up to?
I mean, he's going to take a look around, I guess, to make some sort of notice and probably head towards Lori, honestly. If we've taken care of these two, he's going to try to get closer to her just in case someone tries to, show up.
So you make your way through the area between the barn and the house. Again, it's cloudy outside, and as you walk, maybe a sprinkle of rain starts to hit you up from above, and you look around and you can see those pools of blood. Well, they start to get diluted as small droplets of rain drop into them, and the red meets the blue. And as you walk through that mess, you can see those bodies around you, and they start to move, and they start to shake, and they start to stand up. And that's end of episode.
No.
Oh, shit.
No.
Thanks for listening to this week's episode of Sounds Like Crows. You can find us on Twitter at Sounds of Crows or on Facebook at facebook.com/Sounds Like Crows. The cast of Sounds Like Crows is as follows. Luciano Lucky Crowe is played by Cameron Day. Ellis Crowe is played by Alex Horrell. Thaddeus Crowe is played by Marshall Sims. Harper Crowe is played by Cameron Reed. And Abel Crowe is played by Isaac Sunstead. If you'd like to find out more about us or give us any feedback, you can go to our website at soundslikecrows.com. And if you want to support the show, the best thing you can do is tell a friend about us or leave a rating and review on iTunes, Stitcher, or wherever you found us. That's the show. I'll see you next Monday.